I think we live. We are live. Hello, hello, my beautiful people. We are back on our body, mind, and soul connection circle. We are back. And I know today there's a lot of people running around with busy lives, celebrating Father's Day. So, from us to you, happy Father's Day to all the people that are celebrating this. Thank you so much for joining us. If you watch this live, say hello. If you watch a replay, say hello. Let us know where you're tuning from. And today we have amazing, amazing time together. Let's say hello to my beautiful co-hosts, Michelle and Lorna. Hello, hello. And we have our beautiful new member, which is Kelly. Hello, hello, Kelly.
Hello.
So what we always do here, we always go and do a quick round. We introduce ourselves. Let us know where you're tuning from, your location, your title, and your name. And then we're going to pass it on to beautiful Lorna, which is going to take us to round two. And we're going to dive deeper. But today is going to be even more special because we only have Kelly today. She took the time to be with us, took the time from her family to be with us. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
So we're going to dive even deeper with your work, your
Sounds
gifts,
good.
and how you serve the world. So welcome everyone and welcome Kelly. Thank you for
Thank
being here.
you. Thank you.
Let
So,
us,
do you want me to start or I don't know?
yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah, your name, title, and location, and Lorna will probably take it from there. We'll do a round of that.
Okay, very good. So again, my name is Kelly Kessler. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and then also a transformation coach and a podcast host. So, and where I'm located, I'm in New Jersey. So just about an hour outside of New York City.
Woohoo, amazing, amazing. Thank you again for being here. We're so looking forward on the second round where we're going to dive deep into your beautiful gifts that you share with the world.
Sure.
Let's go to Michelle.
Hi guys, it's nice to see you. Michelle Beauchard. I call myself the natural entrepreneur. I'm a mission technician and digital doula. I help you birth your online offer and build the tech to support your offer stack. So I'm happy to be here. Nice to see you guys. And I suppose I should say I'm a social purpose entrepreneur. So I'll talk more about that later.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. And Lorna.
I'm Lorna, and I'm here in beautiful British Columbia on the west side of Canada. And labels currently, they seem to be shifting. Right now, I'm a speaker, a teacher, a trainer, a poet, and a sex and spirit alchemist of the feminine led life.
So amazing, amazing. Thank you for being here. My beautiful co-host. I couldn't do this without both of you. So thank you for being here today. And I'm Adriana de Marvel, your truth Adriana de Marvel. I am a communication and a confidence coach and a speaker. And I'm tuning in from Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So this is who we are today. We're excited to dive deep into our connection circle and see what threads are going to come out of this. So I'll pass it on to Lorna.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be exciting. So the way that we work this, Kelly, is we are going to be doing a round. We're going to take turns. We're going to have about, we're going to go with about 7 minutes each. And in that time, have opportunity to share about who your gifts, what your gifts are. And we're not talking about freebies. We're talking about the gift of you, your superpowers, the gifts that you bring to the world. So what your gifts are, who you serve and how, whether that's one-on-ones, retreats, group work, whatever it is that you do, and then your why. You can speak to any of those in whatever order you want, but just to address those. And the way that we're going to do it is, I'm going to go first. I will go first on this. And then what we do is whoever was first, then when the time is up, and I'm going to put a timer on for each of us. And that way what we do is we find that having a container, and I think each of one of us from our coaching experiences, when you create that container, it allows for transformative things to happen, as well as in that pressure, if you will, of a time. It also allows it to be distilled into the gold that's ready to come forward. So we're going to do it that way. And then the next person, and Kelly, I'm going to have that be you. So just give you a heads up. You get to pick something that I have said. So we do this, the person who was preceding, pick up something that I said, something that resonated with you, and take that thread and connect it, make that connection to whatever I've shared for your own experience, and then use the duration of your time. Just address that in whatever way is relevant for you, and then use the duration of your time to share again your gifts, who you serve and why, or who you serve and how, and then your why. Okay.
Yep.
And then we'll
Very good.
go, and today it feels to go to Adriana and then Michelle, and then Michelle being the last one, she's going to then, she'll pick up, I will then pick up something, a thread from her, and we weave our circle together that way. All right. So I am going to get the timer out, and I didn't get that ready in time. So one moment, please. And I find that sometimes I tend to, sometimes the aspect of answering all of these 3 questions, sometimes I forget to tell my why. So I'm going to actually start with my why today. Get my timer on.
Well, this is going to be good. Lorna's why. Lorna's got a great why.
All right. So why do I do what I do? You know, I have come from this experience of a religious background, and in many ways, when I look back on things, there's been this aspect of our sexuality being disconnected, number one, from ourselves, but also often disconnected from our from spirituality. And I find that in my own practice and what in my own experience, and then as well in my practice of working with people over these last 16 years, is that there's a very much a disconnection within themselves, a disharmony. And I remember why when I was going through one of my trainings, I came through a session, I thought, it's all for the children. And whether it's the children that are growing up in homes where there's tension between families and homes, sometimes a lot of people that I work with have the children have as children had abuse, they've had trauma, and I know from my own experience from a very early age as well, different kinds of trauma that have happened to me in a sexual way. So it disconnects ourselves. So for me, it's really important to create safe places for people to come and to come back home to themselves so that they can live in harmony in their own bodies, live at peace in their own bodies, and how that ripples out. So to feel safe in their own sense. And what my gifts are creating safe spaces for people. What I hear is I've never been able to share this with people, or I've just shared something online on a public podcast that I've never shared with anybody before other than my wife. And so I find that somehow from my own experience of being so disconnected from my own sexuality and this disconnection of spirituality and sexuality, that when I had what I call my midlife sexual awakening 15 years ago, 16 years ago, it was like I went from being so this way to all of a sudden, wow, it's just sex is so, our sexuality is so natural. It's so good and pure and right. It's not sinful and shameful and dirty like I've been taught. And so it became a very natural thing for me to take my love and gift of teaching from having taught in the school system and teaching an energy healing modality for almost a decade, and now into the sexual erotic realm of things. And so merging all of these things together and bringing the spiritual part of things together, it's a way to really support people in coming back home to themselves. And in that as well, what I've realized is in this place where we've been taught that the masculine is the deity, that masculine is the head of the home, is that it puts us all in a place where from that we've shut things down, where women can't acknowledge that they are sexual erotic beings, men can't express their emotions. And I say, what if this story that is unfolding, this human experience where we've been taught that we are separate, so look outside of ourselves for partner, permission, authority, validation, and even that quest of trying to connect back to that source of the sacred, that what if we've been living in the story of where everything is the opposite? And in a mirror, when you look in a mirror, we don't see what is, we see the opposite. So in our world, when we look outside of ourselves, is what if now we bring the masculine not in this upright place or this place of superiority, but we actually bring it around where it's actually the opposite, where it's the feminine. And that for some people that looks like, and it's a starting place of female-led relationships, where the masculine now says, now I know where to bring my energy. Now I know where I didn't know where it belongs. So it shows up in violence. It shows up in competition. It shows up in violence in many ways, and being at war. what if it's like we bring the feminine back into this place of leadership, and the masculine says, okay, now I know where I go. When the feminine is in initiation, when feminine is in leadership, when feminine sets the tone and place, because the feminine allows for all of it. And what I realized from my time as a femdom is that feminine leadership is a place where everything comes into harmony, because feminine includes all, where it's a win for all. And so recognizing that it's not just feminine, but actually feminine is the spirit. Feminine is that flow, and the masculine is the form. So hidden in plain view, here we are living in this human experience with the feminine spirit living and breathing all of us. And so the way that I work with people in coming back into this place of harmony within themselves is one-on-one. I do one-on-one coaching, energy work with people. I've done retreats, group work, and different trainings where I've worked in that support of in a femdom type relationship of supporting women and reclaiming their power, and men being able to sink into that place of service and surrender and letting go of that need to be in charge. And so those are the things that I do. I work with consent, and it's not even just about sexual aspect of things, but it's actually about that consent that we as children knew through our divine essence of being able to just move in response to life, that in the human journey has been covered over and shamed, and that somehow we give up our voice, we give up our choice because of what somebody else, I'm responsible for somebody else's feelings, and that people pleasing. So this consent that I call the compass of consent is that feeling. Come back to feel what it's like to be in peace and harmony in your own body. And then whatever you choose to do, whether it's in purchases, whether it's in business interactions, whether it's in intimate relationships, that you're coming from that compass within that is at home and connected to source, an expression of source. So that's what I do. My gifts, my superpowers are, listening, holding space for people, being able to have these places where people can, be safe and held and come home to themselves. All right, so that's mine. I'm going to turn off the timer before the music chimes. And so there we go. So Kelly, what you can do now, we'll go ahead, is pick a thread that resonated with you, speak to it, address it, and then please use the rest of your time and share of your gifts, who you serve and how. And
oh my gosh, so much of what you said spoke to me. There are so many things I could pull from it, but what you've said multiple times, that coming home to yourself, and that very much sticks out to me. And I'll kind of start my why too, because that really ties into that. But for so much of my life, I self-abandoned. So I relinquished my own essence, my own truth. I didn't speak up for myself. I constantly was looking outside myself for sense of purpose and worth, and following what I thought was expected of me to be the good girl. And in that, unconsciously, I was losing myself. And this was over the course of years that I didn't even realize how much this was consuming me, where I was literally looking outside myself. It came through where I had an eating disorder for several years, trying to mold my body to feel so that I could finally feel worthy if I looked a certain way. It came through overachieving and working excessively to the point where I was just burning myself out, but thinking, okay, if I just hit that next goal, then I'll finally feel like I'm enough. And then it came through the people pleasing, which also very much resonated with me too, with what you said, but that people pleasing of like, other people must know more than me, that I have to look outside myself for that authority and never tuning into my own inner authority. And that perfectionism, that if I can just do everything perfect, then I'll feel safe and enough, and I'll finally prove to myself that I am enough. And so my why and what I do today is because I've lived that experience for most of my life, unconsciously, not realizing why I just feel empty, why I feel hollow, why I'm wanting more in life, and feeling like it's just never coming. And not only doing that, but also like burning myself out in the process of seeking that outside myself. And it was really when my life came to a full like stop, that I had no other choice but to go within. And that's really when my life actually started blossoming. I had no idea in the time, but I was working full time, also working a part-time job. I was pregnant with my son. We were building a house. We were the general contractor. So I was going full in, and ended up being a blessing in disguise. But the pandemic, I became furloughed, and it gave me that moment of pause of looking at my life and being like, what am I doing? Like, do I really want this? And what do I like? What is going on? I have been physically present with my son, but I haven't been present. I've been emotionally and mentally completely gone. And I know how precious that time is. And it became that moment of pause that I really started taking my life back. And it's, very short, short version of this, but really went in and understood how dysregulated my nervous system was, understanding that I had had chronic back pain for years. And I'm a physical therapist, putting myself through all the regimens to help myself, but never really getting that long-term relief because it was all emotionally connected. So started understanding nervous system regulation, implementing that in my life, understanding the subconscious mind and all the beliefs that I was holding on to that were keeping me stuck in these cycles. And so that really is the why behind everything I do, is that it's been my lived experience. I know what it's like to feel like you're empty, and yet you're working so hard to feel like you want to be full and to look outside yourself. It also showed up in so many relationships where I just stayed silent, thinking that other people, there was a sense of safety. I don't want to be abandoned, so I'll abandon myself in the process. And so in my own journey of becoming self-loyal, I've really come home to myself and have realized that, I'm worthy of speaking up for myself. I'm worthy of my own time and energy, and I'm worthy of feeling like I'm enough from within, even if nothing changes outside myself. And I was no longer willing to lose myself in an effort to keep other people in my life that were willing to lose me. And so that has been my why. My gifts in that is that I have a deep sense of compassion for anybody who's gone through that, because I know the struggles that I've had, that, behind closed doors, you know what you're going through, but you put on the happy face, you hold it together. People think you got it all together, and you know what you're dealing with. So I have a sense of compassion for people. I'm able to hold space for them and just understand that this is a journey. This is not something that switches overnight, and to understand that it takes these micro shifts, and then doors start to open up. Your life starts to change, but you have to just stick with it and just trust that you can stay with that for yourself, and that you're worthy of all those changes. And something else that I understand is that for many years, didn't realize I was so emotionally disconnected from myself, and that I had no way of even understanding my emotions. But I've really, really have become more in tune with my emotions, have become a better mom because of that. And so now I just am so much more compassionate for people experiencing that spectrum of emotions, and knowing that every emotion is okay, and that we need to feel that in order to move through life, and that we have to experience life to the fullest, and that we are worthy in this moment right now, that we have to embrace that, because life is very short. We don't know how long we have. And if we spend our whole life abandoning ourselves, we're never actually living for ourselves. We're never actually doing what we're here to do, is to embrace all our own unique gifts and then be able to share that. And so I'm so grateful. I wish I had known what I knew now, but I think I had to go through that journey in order to get here. So I help people one-on-one, navigating all that. So navigating boundaries, self-worth, subconscious mind, nervous system regulation, bringing the body into a place of safety, feeling like you're safe enough to move through that. I also have a community, so I have a lot of members who, experience this. And so it really just helps to realize that you're not alone, because there is so much of that belief that I'm the only one who's living this, because I thought that for years, like no one else really understands this. And then when I started to do my own healing, I understood that so many more people understand that, and that even if we're putting on that strong face, that we all understand what's going on behind the scenes and all that. And so I have that I also share with people, is that community, and then the one-on-one support. And I also have courses if there's just parts of it that people want to work with. So it's, I can look back. I used to say to myself, why is this happening to me? The biggest transition I've realized in my life is that it was all happening for me, and that these were gifts along the way to bring me to this place where I am uniquely designed to help someone who is the past version of myself. And I'm so incredibly grateful for all the things that I've overcome that have helped me now help other people overcome that as well.
Beautiful, wonderful. Thank you, Kelly, for that
Absolutely.
share. And
Mhm.
what you've shared is that aspect of that transition of happening to you, for you, and seeing how it's all perfectly been there.
Mhm.
You said it so beautifully and clearly. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And now
Thanks.
how you get to live that.
It's a beautiful gift to yourself.
Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Wow. All right, Adriana, please, if you will go ahead now and share your gifts, who and how and
Yes.
why, please.
Oh, there's so many things. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing that. There's so many things that I'm like, you are speaking about me. Are you in my head? It's beautiful to see when people coming to understanding and awareness or consciousness of why you're here. Everything makes sense. Nothing is in vain. Everything that happens to you is for you. So I really love those takes away, big takes away. Yeah, even I have as I'm watching also the chat, Caroline from UK, she said, please, can you share your podcast link? So definitely after this, you can go on our group on the chat, and then definitely she's going to share all her ways to connect with Kelly, because her story, I think, is many of our stories in a way or another, in a shape or another. And it takes me to, as you were speaking, Kelly, it's kind of like you are going through my life. Like I went from like, I'm not enough, so I'm not willing, I'm not going to do anything, who I am to do anything, then to an inner battle inside of me, like feeling a calling but not knowing what it is, then to going through people pleasing, thinking that if I do that, I'm going to serve myself, and then going through another inner battle to figure out who I am and why I'm here and what I'm doing, why I'm here to do. And all these things took me to where I am today, coming back from Romania in a very indoctrinated culture where I wasn't allowed to speak. I wasn't allowed to express who I am, the loud, the rambunctious Adriana. I had to be kept quiet. And as I was observing, because I couldn't talk, at least I learned the skill to observe. I started observing why people do what they do. And I realized the words they say to themselves and how they said it to themselves either flourish relationships or kill relationships. And that's something for me was incredible. Like someone make literally a noise with their vocal cords, and they have so much power over the person in front of them. And that fascinated me. And I didn't know then what I know now, like Kelly was saying. It's like, oh, I wish I knew then what I know now. But that took that skill of observation and not be able to talk took me to the calling I am today, which is my one of my biggest mission is to help people to understand the power of their words, or owning their voice. And also owning, I mean taking responsibility. Be responsible for what you're saying, how you're saying, because you can kill someone literally and figuratively, or you can enhance their life, you can empower them. And that for me is one of my biggest whys, realizing that who he speaks every day. We all speak every day, every single day of our life, with ourselves, first of all, and then with the people around us. But did you ever wonder that we never been actually taught how to speak? We've been taught how to walk, we've been taught how to eat, how to act or not act properly, but we never taught how to properly speak and how to use this instrument that help us to connect and create with it. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I love to help, especially like Kelly was saying, that I'm helping the people that they are a chapter behind me. Why? Because I've been in their shoes. I understand what they're going through. And not just I'm helping them, I'm holding their hand. Because on the beginning, most of us, we don't know the how. We think that if we knew the how, then everything else will sort up. And that's what I thought too. And we need someone to hold our hand, to maybe show us the path, but in the path to show us that we don't need nobody to show us the path. We actually know the path because it's inside of us. We just need, as a humans, because we're all humans, our nature is we need someone to feel like it's beside us, that we're not alone in this, that we're not going through this alone. And like a baby on the beginning, a whole hand of the mom to walk. Afterwards, he said, Mom, I don't need your hand. I can walk by myself. And I think that's what my role is to help people to hold their hand on their first steps, whatever is that their business, their career, their owning their voice, come transitioning in careers from employees to entrepreneur, from someone that was a victim to a victor, from invisible to impactful. Those are the things I'm helping people with, and I love to do it. And then afterwards, I let them spread their wings and figure out for themselves, because now they're big enough to do that. And the way I do it with speak on stages, on podcasts, connecting with people, networking. One-on-ones are my gems, where I'm a brain mechanic, as Michelle titled me, and I'm able to dive deep into underneath what's happening, your lack of confidence, because I don't believe in that, but that's another story. And I show people that I guide them for them to look with their eyes outside of themselves, so they can see a different perspective of who they truly are. Then I drop them back into their own thing, and then they cannot be the same anymore. So those are my gems, my gifts, and the things that I love to do every single day. It empowers me to be able to see someone sending me a message and say, Adriana, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, yes, I hear that all the time. And that it's my gift that I receive back from all the people that I serve, my gifts with it. So that's a little bit about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Adriana. And I love how you've continued, as we've talked about before, that each time we get to talk about it, new levels of what we're sharing, the clarity that comes, and how it gets reflected, how you have shifted, and your work continues to get more potent, or its potency being more fully realized. So thank you for sharing. All right, Michelle, please go ahead and pick up a thread. And
oh my gosh, what a great circle today. This is awesome. So many things. I actually want to pick up on something Kelly said. Well, multiple things, and I think Adriana did too. But I've learned a lot from Lorna, and appreciate what you said too, Lorna. I think the theme for me today is about that journey to self-love, and that journey to being okay with yourself and your purpose. We kind of forget when we arrive on the planet what the curriculum was we signed up here on Earth School for, and then we kind of rediscover that as we go along through our journeys. And I've recently clarified that my two whys, my purposes here functionally are to relieve caregiver burnout and to do ecological restoration. So what the heck does that have to do with digital marketing? And how did I get there? Well, and I actually got there through my personal journey throughout my life around caregiving, first to a codependent alcoholic parent, then, through a narcissistic abuse relationship, and then through my nonverbal and severely autistic son's care, and running a business around respite and homeschool. To support him and a team of people, out there, helping families in the same situation with highly complex kids, and the impacts that have on their lives. So I really understood and appreciated that deep caregiver burnout that you were talking to. And I had one of those I like to call them frying pan moments, because I'm a frying pan learner with the universe. If I don't hear it the first time, then the whisper or the yell, then the frying pan comes out. The universe kind of goes, you need a full stop, and let's take a look at your identity and your narratives and your programming that you've got in your physical 3D infrastructure. And so through my journey with my son's care was probably the most instructive and formative, at least in the last couple of decades. He's now 20. And he's an adult, but in going through the intense care needs and burnout from dealing daily with aggression and violence, and the systems failing us, and the sense that essentially nobody's coming to save us. I just decided as a parent that was not going to be okay, and that it's it shouldn't, in experiencing these things, that we need to help alleviate the caregiver burnouts somehow, especially for those critical moments where, you know, you can decide, as I did at one point, that, you know, the life insurance money would be more effective and useful than you were, right? And that shouldn't be a place where any family gets to, and I hadn't. And so what I wanted to do, you know, and is help relieve some of the things that aren't superficially available, you know, like viewable as a sort of like this hidden secret community where I kind of call it the, like, Stranger Things has the upside down, and it looks exactly the same as the real world, except it's not the same because it's got this whole dark overlay to it, and that the world of as an autism parent can feel like that sometimes. So I wanted to be able to, you know, you can't just hire the kid next door as a babysitter, and I wanted to be able to ensure that, you know, the stress of, you know, all of the finance issues, all of the relationship issues that come up, all of the health issues that come up because of the intense caring that comes with these awesome kids, is supported with respite and maybe homeschool delivery, because I had to do that as well. So what I did was, like, I was like, okay, how are we going to pay for this? And nobody's coming to save it. I'm like, okay. And through the respite and care business, I realized it was very expensive for parents, and there's just not enough support. And so I'm like, okay, but it's not an option not to have this. It shouldn't be easier to order a pizza online and get that to your door than it is to get care and support. So I when COVID came and shut down the brick and mortar care business, I switched to digital, as many of us did, in supporting the online community. But that took me down a rabbit hole of learning all about all sorts of, you know, many thousands of dollars of training later in business and online marketing and digital stuff, helping people develop online courses, online, you know, like all of the things. And then that led me down to the, okay, well, there's so many different pieces of tech. How do I, like, make this simple? Because I don't have time for this, and I need I need something that's going to work. So I learned all about CRMs and how to do funnels and websites and things all in with one system. So now I help people who have these soul journey path, purpose-driven offers, crystallize what they want to do, and in a way, deliver it in a way that's natural to their life, their circumstance. And that's why I'm a biologist by formal training, so it's a play on words where, you know, I'm very into nature, and so but systems have to be natural for them. And I think that our world systems aren't natural, and we've designed these business systems that aren't natural, and so now we need to take that power back and build it around things that are natural for us and our natural purpose and our natural function here on the earth. And so I help people build out, you know, design and build out their offers. I help them get the tech to support their offer stack organized and in place and in motion. And then through my company, Vancouver Island Social Media Services, I offer event-driven support so that you have that sole purpose expressed through an event where I do my team and I do the registration and loading to your event, help you deliver your event, and then help you do the post closing and sales closure. So I do that, though, specifically to generate the money to give back into caregiving. And so it's a social purpose enterprise that raises money for respite and homeschool care through my parent dashboard portal for autism parents. So that's me and what I do and why, and yeah, how I got there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. Oh, wow. As you said, just an incredible circle today of the things that have gotten shared and the commonalities and the various pieces. Michelle, the thread that I'm going to pick out, one of the things that you had said is that idea of sometimes in a, you know, there's that sense of how things are, but there's that mirror, that dark underlay that happens, and, you know, things seem to be a certain way, but there's commonalities, but that underlay, and that resonated with me in the sense that so often, like say in my work and my own experience, there's these different things that have happened around our sexuality, our feeling disconnected, or the traumas that happen. There's so much of what gets, and in families, what goes on behind the doors. And Kelly, you mentioned that as well, right? Of you to put on that happy face, and Adriana, you know, the things that go on in the mind of, you know, how it's a different world up there. And I think that's a big part of it, is that so much of what happens is behind the doors, whether it's behind the doors of a home, behind the doors of our face or the mind, is that what it comes down to as well is that idea of, how do I tell somebody else? And it speaks to that somehow, that sense of shame. There's so much that shame of, if people really knew what I think, what I feel, what I've gone through. And I think that that's really a big part of the gift that we each bring in what we do, is we're saying, hey, we're here. I've been through my own journey of that. I know what it's like. And it has nothing to do with your worth, your value, who you are, the true essence of you are. And I just really, that's a thing that just, and I'm getting shivers as I say that, I think that's a big part of what every one of us does, is there is no shame. There is no shame. Who you are is perfect and beautiful. So that's really beautiful.
Maze balls. I love that. And I'm going to jump in just because I know I have to start up round 3 here. But Lorna, I really appreciate you said that, because I actually feel like the shift to the new business realm, where we're building this natural enterprise, this natural entrepreneurship, is the feminine led life, is that and why we see the rise in female entrepreneurs, or the male entrepreneurs that have that energy of service, is that is the shift that's happening overall. So I really I thank you for your work in supporting women and training men on how to flip that it's a total watershed moment that we're in, I feel like, right now in our whole world. So yeah, it's cray. But anyway, last thing we wanted to do was kind of do around Kelly. This is where we have some fun, and we say, think of a word, and I'm going to go around, and I might start with Adriana this time. But we're going to think of a word and then come to you. We're going to think of a word that describes how it was for you today, how this session was. So Adriana, what is your word today?
It came as soon you said it, you already came. I was like, I'm ready. The word that came in my mind as a reflection of everything is mirror or mirroring, because we literally mirror to each other what all of us, we have common in here. We have a common thread, we have a common mission, and also the mirroring of what happened inside of us, it's happening outside of us. So that, and the work that we do, more work we do with ourselves, more is gonna mirroring outside of us, and it's gonna reflect over what's happening around us. So that's my word for today.
Awesome. How about you, Kelly?
My word for today, excuse me, would be resonance. So it's amazing because I just literally met the 3 of you. You know, we're in different countries, we're far away, but there's like a connection that I feel to all of you after hearing your stories. And just, it's so empowering just to see what, you know, you go through these struggles and what you can do with it. And you have 2 choices. You can either let it get you down, or you can let it rise you up and become the foundation of what you do. So I so deeply connected with you, and I resonance is the word that I'm taking through with this.
Aw, we're so glad you were here. Thank you. And
I
you know what?
enjoyed it.
Yeah, we loved having you here. Lorna, how about you?
For me, the word, it's sort of flipping back and forth, but they're similar, is freedom, liberation. I think that sense of being able to speak things, to be able to, to be able to share. So there's an energy of freedom and liberation today. It's really beautiful.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the self-love. Only out of respect for it, because each of us, to me, it seems like each of us has worked really hard on that. And I value it. And the more and more I live, the more and more I value it. And having, having it as the base rather than the afterthought has really shifted my resonance, and I hope it shifts anybody who does that work. It's worth it. So I think that was really important today, and I appreciate you all for it. And then so we wanted
Michelle,
to tell
before you go on, I'd love to just, this has sort of been staying with me, and it taps into what you just said, Kelly, when you said the word self-loyalty. I love that. because it speaks, it encompasses that self-love and so much more in some ways. So I love that. And that's just been, it just really, so I wanted to tack that into and acknowledge that today
Yeah.
as that expression of self-love. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad I connected with you. It connected with me because I'm like, it's just, you do it out of love for yourself when you are self-loyal. And it's like when you're loyal for yourself, you can be fully present for everyone in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the discernment point between, is an activity depleting me or not? And it's a you can love yourself and care for yourself and still do all the things for everybody else. But you're not being loyal to yourself if you're to your self-love if you're doing all of that. So yeah, I love that, Lorna. That's awesome. Well, and the other thing that we do here in Connection Circle is offer a follow-up, a deep dive interview, Kelly. So we're happy to have you on as a one-to-one interview for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I would love that.
Group that you should get an email afterwards saying giving you the information on how to book that. Anybody who wants to and come back again on Connection Circle, we welcome anybody in the group. When it's not Father's Day, you're not too busy to dial back in and come back on Connection Circle and share again. We also encourage folks who are needing support in that realm of the business to business services to consider our provider circle for wellness providers. We've got a whack of materials and promotional opportunities that are part of that, including being featured in our micro summits, which we're having the next one July
20th.
20th?
About 20th about burnout. The team is burnout.
Okay. Yes, and so we're having a burnout micro summit. So far we've had one on sleep, one on grief, and the next one's burnout. We have a schedule for the year, and you know, the being a speaker part of that is becoming a part of the provider circle package, as is the daily posts into the group and being featured in our newsletter and a whole bunch of other supports and training that the providers are doing business to business, including tech. So love for you to check that out. We'll drop all those links in the comment, the Connection Circle and the Provider Circle and the Micro Summit coming up. So, and Kelly, we'll look forward to having you on your one-to-one and seeing you more in the group. Thank you so much for joining us in the group and being a resource person here. We're hoping to bring more people in to connect with you. Part of our purpose in creating the Body, Mind, and Soul Connections isn't just to help us connect with ourselves across body, mind, and soul or with each other, but to create collaborations and support wellness providers and connect them with their clients. So thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly enjoy this. So it's so amazing to connect with you all today.
Wonderful
Sweet.
to have you here. Yeah.
Adriana, you want to take us out?
Yes. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to my beautiful co-hosts Lorna and Michelle and Kelly for having the opportunity to be just you here, diving a little bit deeper in who you are and hear, and not just hear but feel your gifts and your change that you are expressing from inside out. So thank you so much for that. And for those that are watching live or replay, please connect with Kelly, connect with each one of us. Say hello. Don't be a stranger. Say hello. And also, I want to say to Caroline and I think Gina, and we have a bunch of people that were online. Also, Kelly, please, after this, go on our live and under the comments, put your link so people can connect with you. I know Caroline was mentioning if she can get the link for your podcast. And we're gonna follow you on that as well. I'm looking forward to hear more of what you do and how you serve people. And we love to have you on our one-on-one interview. And for everyone else, please take care of you. Take care of your body, mind, and soul. And we'll see you either in 2 weeks, or if you want to join us for our next Connection Circle, come again if you came before or is your first time. All the links, you're going to find them in the comments, and take care of you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.